Hey, what's going on everybody? It's Dom from Lensprotogo and Lens Rentals, and welcome back to the channel. So this past week, I've been playing with the Zhiyun-Tech Crane 2S. Now, this is the updated version to the Crane 2 that came out a couple of years back, which was an enormous hit with its users. And to this day, I still can't figure out what is the preferred gimbal brand, DJI or Zhiyun-Tech, because DJI seems to be like the authority in all things gimbal, but I know tons of people who swear by their Zhiyun-Tech gimbals. And they've been killing it with their new products recently, like the Weeble, which is super cool, and the absolutely insane Crane 3, which is out now too. But anyways, that's why I'm excited to talk to you about what I think you should know about the 2S, because I think Zhiyun really nailed it with this gimbal. So here's some things I think you should know about the Crane 2S physically, and then we'll get into some internal stuff like its modes, its programs, and the app that it uses. The first thing I'll say is the Crane has this vertical release mount, so you can very easily mount your setup vertically. This is a super cool feature if you're planning on doing some vlogging with this gimbal, or live streaming to social media, or obviously just vertical shooting in general. Next thing you gotta know about the Crane 2S is that it gives you the option of shortening this main arm, which then gives you better vision for the camera screen and clearance for flip out screens. So out of the box it comes fully extended, but you can remove a whole part of the arm and reattach the rest of the gimbal at the elbow here. I think that's really cool, and the Crane 2S gets total modularity points for me there. Next thing you should know about the Crane 2S is that it weighs 4.8 pounds with all the batteries in there and the tripod thingy attached, and it's capable of holding a 7-pound payload, which in my opinion is more than enough if you're just going to be mainly hand holding this gimbal anyways. The 2S can definitely accommodate for a decently large camera, a moderately sized lens, probably most compact cine primes, and definitely a few accessories. And this just made me remember that the 2S is actually natively compatible with the Blackmagic Pocket 4K and 6K cameras without the use of an offset plate. And I know if you're planning on using this gimbal with one of those cameras, that just makes this gimbal that much more friendly. Okay, a couple last physical things I think you should know about the Crane 2S is that the batteries last super long with up to 12 hours of usage on a full charge. But I'm a little bummed that you still have to charge the batteries externally, and since they go in the grip in a trifecta like this, that makes the grip really wide, and it would feel better if the grip was thinner in my opinion, but that's pretty much my only major complaint of the 2S. Next, they claim this hand wheel is more responsive and has less of a delay, and you'll notice the joystick, button layout, screen, and menu system are pretty familiar to any Zhiyun gimbal. There are 3 USB-Cs on the gimbal head, 1 is for camera control, and 2 are for zoom and focus control. Speaking of those, I don't have the focus motor or the trans-mount video transmission system for the 2S, but it has various built-in mounting options for those accessories if you do have them. And of course, for the style points, we get some golden accents here and there, a luxurious golden S decal here, and the awesome Chinese characters in the back here, which is a classic Zhiyun look. So that's pretty much everything you need to know physically about the Crane 2S. Now I'm going to briefly talk about some internal stuff like the programs in this thing and the app that it uses. So the Crane 2S features Zhiyun's 9th generation of stabilization algorithm, and although I can't necessarily tell you how that's different from previous generations, what I definitely can tell you, and no surprise, is that this thing performs amazingly well. And if for some reason you weren't liking the responsiveness of the 2S, I'm pretty certain you would be able to fine-tune it to meet your standards. So the Crane 2S has all of your conventional gimbal modes that you'd want, but it also does a couple cool new tricks too, like follow mode that follows your motion only when you're holding the rear trigger here, full range point of view, vortex mode, which flips it into flashlight mode and allows you to roll it in a full 360 for this effect, and finally go mode, which basically just boosts all the motors in this thing so it can be super responsive. Lastly, I'm just going to talk about some things that you can only do with the ZY Play app, like panoramic mode, time-lapse mode, and trajectory photography. And this is also how you activate sync motion, which I absolutely love. And that uses the motion of your phone as the gimbal's controller. Alright, so that's pretty much going to wrap up this video on what I think you should know about the Zhiyun-Tech Crane 2S. So, if you have any questions or insights about this gimbal, or you think that I missed something in this video that you wanted to hear talked about, drop a comment in the comment section below and we'll start a discussion. Also, if you liked this video, hit that thumbs up button down below to let me know you liked it. And if you're not already, subscribe to the channel, and that way you'll be in the loop whenever we post new content, which is every week. So take care, and we'll see you in the next one.